all of those fears come to like start making a whole conversation about something that you previously decided. The negotiation with yourself of if your standards deserve to be upheld. When you're building self-trust, that is something that you constantly have to ask yourself. You're like, okay, is this my intuition or is this my fear?
Welcome to the Marriage Magnet podcast, where it's not just about attracting the one, it's about becoming the one. I'm your host, Nechama Phillips, and here we focus on growth, high standards, and creating an intentional life and love through self-development. Navigate your dating journey and beyond with clarity, confidence, joy, and ease, because marriage is not just a box you check off, it's your life. Subscribe or follow the show for bi-weekly episodes packed with value to help you have a better dating experience and marriage.
Welcome back to the Marriage Magnet podcast. I'm your host, Nechama Phillips, and I am excited to talk about today's episode. I heard a quote on Friday. Today's Saturday night. I heard a quote and it just sparked something in me, and I would just want to riff on it. I really don't have notes except for the fact that I told myself I was going to look up who the quote is from so I can actually give them credit. So just give me one moment. Well, it's from a few people's social media profiles, which is very general, but yeah, they're okay. Anyway, so whoever gets credit for this, let me know in the comments if you know who said this originally. But I heard this quote, something about once your intuition has made a decision, everything else after that is a negotiation with fear. Okay. Once your intuition knows something, everything after that is a negotiation with fear. And I think it just hit me in the best way, because I'm like, so many of my clients, this literally just happened. I got a message on Friday of like one of my clients questioning if someone that came up, a suggestion for her, she's like, I always knew that I wanted XYZ, but in this case, he doesn't have that or he's not that. Do you think I should still stick to that? And I'm thinking like, but why? It's so easy when you're objective, right? I'm sure I've done this too. It's like obvious, like, of course you should not. Like, of course you should say no, like, thank you so much, but this just doesn't make sense for me because of XYZ. Like, didn't we talk about this? Like, haven't we put this on your clarity list that I do in my program? Like, haven't we discussed this already? Haven't you made your decision about this? And I think it also leads to so much decision fatigue when it comes to dating, because women are making a decision and then making a decision about that decision over and over and over again. And then no wonder, like they're getting really exhausted. Like dating is hard enough, dating is exhausting enough. And I think that if we are constantly making decisions about things that we've already made decisions on, it's going to lead us down the wrong path, number one. But I think probably even more than that, the decision fatigue that brings you is so depleting. And then your self-trust just gets lessened and lessened and lessened, which is such a shame, right? Because we're trying to build self-trust. And sometimes in the dating process, if we are making decisions about things that we've already decided in the past, we are telling ourselves not to trust ourselves. Because if you already said, if your intuition or if you sat down and thought long and hard about like who you are and what you're looking for, and you've done the work, especially like I do with my clients in my program, I'm just like, why are we here doing this, trying to do this work again in this moment when your objectivity is no longer here because you're in this position, especially this client, it was coming from a place of, I don't want to say desperation because she's confident and amazing. And I don't think she is actively trying to be desperate, but it is coming from that place of, if I don't have anything else right now, like maybe I should reconsider, or maybe what I decided in the past is not as like, it shouldn't be set in stone, because what if I don't find that? What if that is not even out there for me? What if it's not possible? What if I set that standard and my intuition told me, no, of course you need someone who's like this. And then I'm sitting here negotiating with my fears about not finding the right person for me. Right? Or about not getting the standards that I was looking for. And so I think it's so important. I just wanted to like riff on this because I think it's so important to make that initial decision. And it's so important to make sure that you understand what intuition and fear is, because they are two separate things.
Hey, quick interruption to let you know that the Marriage Magnet Method program is now enrolling. If you're a single woman who's dating for marriage, this space was created and designed perfectly for you to accelerate your dating journey, but not just for the results of marriage that we're hoping for, to have a better experience and a better you along the way towards your dreams. This 3-month program will help you become a magnet to attract the right guy for you for the marriage that you deserve. Learn more about the program in the description and show notes below. This is the investment for ultimate marriage readiness and knowing you'll make a decision clearly, intentionally, and wholeheartedly to start your next chapter. Don't wait another minute. Doing this work now will not only create the capacity in yourself for a healthy, happy marriage, but will impact your children and generations to come. This is the best place for single women right now who are wanting more for themselves out of life and love. If you know that's you, book a consultation call with me to apply, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. Okay, back to the episode.
And there's a whole module in my program, Intuition versus Fear. I think it's actually something that people get very confused about. And in the beginning, when you're building self-trust, that is something that you constantly have to ask yourself. You're like, okay, is this my intuition or is this my fear? This is something that you have to work towards building that self-trust. But then if that's the thing that you're looking for in dating, stop making it so hard for yourself, because you're like, I just want to trust myself. And then when anything comes around that's opposite from what you were, or that's different from what you've already previously decided, you're like, wait, but should I? Wait, but I thought that I wanted someone like this. And this is not to say you can't be, as I'm speaking, I'm like playing devil's advocate for myself. Like, this is not to say that you should never be flexible. This is not to say you should never go outside of like your comfort zone or what you've previously decided. What I mean by making that decision is if your intuition knows something and you've already gone to that place where you've done that self-work, where you know yourself, you know who you are, you know what you're looking for, you know how to spot red flags, you know if it's your intuition or if it's your fear speaking, you know how to communicate and express yourself well. These are all, everything I just listed and more is in my Marriage Magnet Method program. If you have done all of that stuff, everything after that is you just the only thing you need to do, like your job, all you need to do is stay rooted and stay true to who you are and what you've already decided. And I know it sounds so easy. It sounds so simple. It sounds so simple. It's like all you need to do is stick to the original plan, right? Once you do that foundational work, all you have to do is stick to it. And it sounds simple enough. Like all I have to do is make the plan and then stick to it. And it's almost too easy. It's almost too easy or too simple that we trip ourselves up, because then we're like, wait, but like, what if that guy, it's really an exception and it's really... And again, this is not to say when you are making your clarity list, you do have to understand the range of flexibility within your standards. And I talk about that a lot with my clients, because knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you're looking for definitely needs to have a spectrum to it. Because if you make a decision too focused, so to speak, where you're like, I need someone to be like this, and then it doesn't come in that exact form, or it's not in that exact way, or it's not presented in that way, but it really is there, like it's too rigid, basically. And usually that's where people lean too picky or too fearful, I would even say, of like vulnerability or whatever it is that they're using their standards to hold themselves back from. But yes, if you do have that range of flexibility and you do understand that spectrum and you do know what it is that you're looking for within the range of like people being human and within the range of like knowing that your mind could be open to new things, like that's totally fine. I just think when there's something so baseline of something that you've already done this foundational work, you've already done this prep work, you know so clearly. Imagine I went to this client and I said, oh, I have another client, obviously in confidence, who told me that she really, really wanted, let's think of an example. I don't know, someone to have a job. She really wanted, which I know sounds funny, but it is a little bit of a comical baseline that people do need to be concerned about. But I just really want him to have a job, right? And it was like, oh yeah, for sure. It makes sense that you wanted someone who was stable enough that they had a job, that they had something going for them, or that they knew what they were doing in life, or they had some kind of plan. And then some guy gets suggested to her, or they meet someone naturally even, and he has no job, no plan, no anything, but she likes him because he's cute, or because or if it was a suggestion, it's like a relative or someone close to them is like pushing it and saying like, I'm telling you, it's a really good option. And then imagine I'm telling this client who just asked me this question about this pretend other client. I think she would say, obviously she should not go out with this guy. Like, that is opposite of everything that she said she wanted. She said she wanted someone who is somewhat established, somewhat stable, somewhat has a direction in life, and he clearly doesn't. So it's not even like she should be flexible within the range of what she was looking for. This is literally not what she's looking for, and it's okay to say no. But for some reason, when it's you, and when you're subjective and when you're in it, it becomes really confusing all of a sudden. And when you realize that if your intuition has already spoken and you knew that it was intuition, everything else after that is you negotiating with your fear. It's so accurate. It's just so accurate, because pretty much what's going on in your mind at that point is the negotiation with yourself of if your standards deserve to be upheld, if you deserve to get what you want, if it's possible to get what you want, if other people will understand what you want, will God send you the person that you're looking for in the time frame that you want? Like, all of those fears come to like start making a whole conversation about something that you previously decided. And again, it's draining. So I urge you, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, just to take this as a message, as a sign to just trust yourself and to allow your self-trust to build enough to the point that you don't keep fatiguing yourself with decisions that you've already made, because it's tiring. And so much of dating is hard as it is. But I think like so much of the hardship of dating are these types of things where it doesn't have to be this way. You know, speaking of quotes, because I'm in a quote mood. Quick question. If you ever left a date wondering, should I go out with him again? Is there enough potential? What if he's my husband and I miss out? I created something for you. It's called the Ultimate Clarity Quiz, and it's the exact decision-making framework I use with my private clients to help them know whether to say yes or no after a date, using your own intuition, not anxiety. It includes 3 guided quizzes for dates 1, 2, and 3, so you stop spiraling, stop second-guessing, and start choosing with confidence. If you want clarity instead of confusion in your dating life, grab it now for just $44. The link is in the description and show notes below. And now back to the episode. It goes something like, pain is necessary, or pain is eventual, or whatever, but suffering is optional. Something like that. Pain is necessary, suffering is optional. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. I think that's what it is. And it's so true. It's this type of thing. I think with dating, it really comes down to that it's going to be challenging. It's going to come with its hardships. And especially if you're in it for a while, like, I get it. It could be grueling. But I personally, and everyone's different, and people will say, oh, that's not late that you got married at 27. People have a lot of opinions, a lot of stories, Point is, I know what it's like when inside it is hard. So you could be 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, or 35, or 40. If you are struggling with dating, that is so valid. And I feel for you. And I understand what it's like to have the experiences and personality where dating feels really painful. And at the same time, looking back, I would tell this to my past self. Obviously, I can't and wouldn't change a thing at this point, but I would tell my past self, and I will tell you, suffering is optional. It really, really is. It could be a little bit painful. It could be hard. It could be challenging. Suffering is optional. And this is one of those things that just illustrates that point where dating is hard. But if you've already made your decision, if you've already trusted your intuition, if you've already set out with like, this is important to me, this is what I want out of life, this is what I'm looking for in a person, and I know who I am, and I know how to look for it, and I know what to avoid, and how to communicate, and how to express myself, and all of that, like, you have that foundation, just keep building the self-trust instead of tearing yourself down in the process by questioning and re-questioning and re-questioning your decisions that you've already made. So if your intuition has already spoken, if your intuition has already presented the right way for you, the clear path for you, and your inner truth, all that negotiation with fear, just look at it for what it is and be like, okay, that's me negotiating with my fears. Let me put my fears to the side and just trust myself. And every act of trusting yourself, every time you trust yourself, it becomes easier to trust yourself the next time. So I hope that this was impactful for you. I hope that this episode inspired you to just give yourself that chance to build your self-trust and to also do the foundational work. If you know that you're not at the place to be able to make those decisions, trusting yourself because you know that you're missing some of that foundational work, I would love to work with you. So check out the description, get some information on my program. The Marriage Magnet Method is incredible and absolutely changed women's lives, help them make their decisions so clearly, so confidently, so easily, because they knew who they were and what they were looking for, and they stuck to their decisions, and their intuition was clear, and I helped guide them through all of those little wobbles and reminded them that it actually is as simple as just sticking to the plan and just sticking to their original intuitive knowing about what they're wanting out of life and out of marriage. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Marriage Magnet podcast. I'm so glad you're here, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and following on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. I would love to know what you're enjoying most about this show or which topic you'd like to see covered next. So please leave me a comment or DM me on Instagram at Nechama Phillips. If you found value in this conversation, please leave this show a review and share it with a friend who can benefit. This way we can reach more people and empower more women with these important messages, because you deserve the best quality relationship with yourself and others. I'll see you in the next episode.